Hello everyone, as we all know, on the 22nd we are all getting the new soul badges, which is going to be the Wing Rise soul badge as well as the Paragon soul badge. So it's like a bright pink one and a bright blue one. So these two are going to be the new badges coming out. And this spreadsheet determines which soul badge is best in slot for each class and each spec. So first of all, I want to thank Teliona over here for posting this on Alice's Discord, because it is very, very useful. So I'll just be blasting through every single class as well as every single soul badge that they should be using. It's relatively straightforward. The link for this Google Doc is in the description below, so you can just click it to check it out yourselves. And it's basically a cross-check from all the parses on the Korean server and what soul badges they were using in order to get the most DPS. So without further ado, let's blast right through it. So first one is the Blade Master. So the Spirit Blade Master, you go either Paragon or Wildborn, and then over here the DPS is about the same as they noted right here. As for the Singing Blade, you either want to go Warsong or Ancestral. The reason why it's in yellow is because nobody really plays the Singing Blade with the new badge, so they don't know if it's actually good or not. As for the Blade Master 3rd spec, most people have gone for the Exhilaration soul badge. We don't know if the Exemplar is better or the Exhilaration, but most of the Koreans are using Exhilaration, so I think that that's probably the best one. As for the Compu Masters, if you're going the Dragon Fist, you want to go the Wildborn soul badge. The main reason is because the Paragon badge has lower smolder count, so it's a little bit worse than Wildborn, so just stick with Wildborn. If you're going the Flying Kick one, you want to go for the Wing Rise, mainly because the Wing Rise gives you an easier rotation than the Warsong. So the ranking would be Wing Rise, Warsong, then Ancestral, but just get the Wing Rise because it makes your rotation easier and better. As for the Iron Claw, which is the 3rd spec, most people again are going for the Exemplar badge, but you can also go Exhilaration. Both are about the same. But most people are using Exemplar. Next up is the Summoner. The Summoner is a big deal. There's the Wind Summoner and the Earth Summoner. So if you are going the way of the Swarm, you definitely want to try to get the Paragon one. To be honest, both the Wildborn and the Paragon are about the same. Most are still using Wildborn, but I think the Paragon is better for Wind Summoner, especially if you have low ping. As for Way of the Thorns, there's no change here. There's literally, you stick with the Undying Soul badge if you're the PvE weapon like myself. However, if you have the raid weapon, such as the Thornbreaker weapon, then you can use the Warsong. Next up is the Force Masters. So Force Masters go for the new badge on both specs. For the Flame spec, you go the Paragon. For the Frost spec, you go the Wind Rise. As for Destroyers, nobody really plays Stonebreaker or Reaper, so there's not enough information about these two. However, for the Iron Will, you definitely go for the Exemplar soul badge. Next is the Assassin. The Assassin, you go Paragon if you're with the Serpent, Wing Rise if you're the Shadow. As for the Assassin 3rd spec, you either go Exhilaration or Static. Most people are going to go Static mainly because it bursts higher numbers. However, a lot of people also use Exhilaration. I think Static is probably the way to go because it does bigger numbers than Exhilaration. As for Blade Dancers, Spinning Storm, you go Paragon. For Thundering Blade, you still stick with Warsong. For Warlocks, if you're the Distortion spec, you go Paragon. If you're the Scourge spec, you go Wind Rise. Same with Soul Fighters, you go, if you're Enduring Strength, you go Paragon. If you're Eternal Soul, you go Wind Rise. As for Gunslingers, the Way of the Destruction goes the Paragon soul badge, which is very surprising to me. I thought you still should stick with Legacy, but basically you gain more damage because of the bracelet uptime, and it increases your unload damage by quite a bit. So the Paragon soul badge is better if we are just comparing Korean parses, so go Paragon if you're fire. And as we knew on the Shadow or the Way of the Undertaker, you definitely go Wind Rise because this gives you 100% uptime on your bracelet, which is very, very powerful. As for the Warden, if you're Way of the Madness, you want to go Paragon. If you're Way of the Guardian, you go Wing Rise. For Zen Archer, if you are the Lightbringer spec, you definitely go Paragon. If you are the Wind Piercer spec, you can go either Warsong or Wing Rise. However, most people will probably stick with Warsong, so just stick with Warsong if you have it. However, if you're still working on a soul badge, then get the Wing Rise. Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to get the Wing Rise because the DPS difference is not that significant. But yeah, that basically covers every single class as well as all the soul badges. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. But anyway, that was all I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully the video was helpful. If it was, I would appreciate a subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome?